So today's date is January 4th, 2022. I'm here with Patti Pelton, and she's consented to do an interview for the BE collection. And we just reviewed that the interview goes to various archives, the Cal State Dominguez Hills, Lesbian Mazer Archives, the National Archives. So we're in there. And actually yesterday I interviewed a woman who had actually gone to UCLA to see how it looked.
Oh, really?
Something I haven't even done. I was impressed you found it. So they're credible archives, I guess. And I didn't know anything about archiving when we started this either. So everybody's leaving their
learning curve.
Yeah. So you were from Flint, Michigan. We said that. And then you moved to?
I moved to Mount Pleasant to go to school at Central Michigan University.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Chicago. Mm-hmm. I studied theater and broadcasting there.
So you knew that you were, that was going to be your direction?
Yes, when I was very young. But not that I didn't have other interests, of course. You waver, through the years, but it always came back to theater. And I worked at Star Theater of Flint when I was 16. Mm-hmm. So I started out as an usher and then got backstage, and that was everybody. Lana Turner, everybody came through there. So that was Cap Calloway. I met everybody, but I worked backstage, and so I kind of solidified that by working back there from 16 to 18.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then when you were in college, did you work in the theater also?
Yes. I started out doing theater there and broadcasting because I thought that would be a good double major, but the intent was always to be an actress. So
what drew you to that, do you think?
I think, and I actually just wrote about this because I'm putting together a one-woman show, and I'd forgotten all about, it's funny how you wonder like, oh, what do I have to write about? And then I started writing the Star Theater story. People seem to love it because, it's everybody from television and film that came through. Right. And I think at first I wasn't sure about it. And then I kind of just thought these are my people after I was there. Enough at 16, I just thought, yeah, this is my thing. And I was always entertaining people when I was little. And I had a neighbor, Mrs. Areno, who encouraged it. I think she secretly wanted to go off and be an actress. So she always encouraged it.
How about your family?
Oh, my mom was great. My mother was a ballerina. My dad was a photographer. And my mom was very supportive as long as I just got a degree of some sort, so I could support myself.
You could say my daughter has a degree.
Yeah, exactly. And then she came out to see me in a show I produced, and after she saw me act, and she saw me act in college too. She was very on board with, was on board with it. So.
Did you have siblings that were in the theater also, or?
No, my father was killed when I was 9 months old. He was electrocuted in our house, and so my mom raised the four of us by herself. And one of my brothers is a geophysicist. Couldn't be further from what I do. My sister's a nurse, and my other brother was a prison guard who's retired now. All of them are retired except the professor, and he's at Boise State University.
So, are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. The babies are always the entertainers. So
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
But that's great. Huh? Any homosexuals in your family besides yourself that you know about?
No. Oh, not immediate. No. No, really no.
When do you become aware that you were had a leaning towards different sexuality gifts?
I actually probably knew it in high school somewhere, but I think I pushed it down. I've really thought about that a lot, but I think I did. And then I didn't come out till my late 40s, early mid 40s, I would say, or like 42. So what's that?
Were you married in the interim, or?
No. I'd never married. I traveled a lot. I was happy being single. I traveled a lot. And then it just got to this place where I kind of started to think, I should investigate that. If, why live a life not fully investigated and see if that's my thing. And it just happened to be, yeah.
No, I like that. Why live a life not fully investigated? That's a great quote.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't it?
I mean, to me, it was like, if, it wasn't easy. I'm not going to say that it was an easy thing, but my family was completely supportive. I had support from everybody, so I never ran into any difficulties with that. So I was lucky there that was the case.
And how about with jobs and stuff? Has it ever been a problem?
I think the job I was on a TV show. I think I was a little bit concerned about it, not because I thought that they were going to be, but I had already established my identity a certain way, as a straight woman. And then I think I just wasn't sure how people were going to react at first. So I kind of just kept it on the down low. But I also felt like it wasn't something I needed to discuss either.
Nobody asked you about it.
Well, when I came out eventually to some of those people, they were like, oh, okay, big deal,
You think part of that was that you were in the theater? They were more.
I think it's because I was in the business. Yeah, I think that was it. And I was living in California. And I also was on the show for 8 years. So I was close to a lot of people. So it was like, as one guy said to me, I don't care if you're blue. He said, I love you anyway. So I don't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, I think to me, it was a much bigger deal than it ended up being, to be honest. I was fortunate that and not to say that other people don't have challenges with it. I had my own challenges personally, but I never really felt that anybody had any negative reaction to it.
So your personal challenges were regarding concern about, how you would be if you came out, or
that what was ahead, what did it all mean for me? I think my own uncertainty really about how people were going to react, and how does one transition into this, like,
right.
Especially if you've had a certain identity for so long. How do you, so I just reached out to friends, how do you pursue it? Basically,
I decided I'd like to be a lesbian.
Yeah, the dating and everything, the whole thing. I mean, let's face it, and I had a lot of lesbian friends, so it wasn't like I didn't have people to talk to about it. I did.
That's good.
Yeah. It was exciting and scary at the same time, I think.
I understand that. Plus, nobody tells you how it's going to be, and you don't know how it's going to be.
No one, and no one really can. It's kind of your own. I met with this woman for coffee, and she said, you're going to have good times and bad times. You're going to have the hard times and it's going to be a journey, and that is exactly what she said,
Mm-hmm. So in your career, what has been the most exciting part of that? You have a very difficult career. I know that. I've counseled a lot of people in your business.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm still going through it. I think it's deciding when to leave it is the hard, like stay in it or leave it, or what part of it are you satisfied with that you can stay in it. I still have inklings. My acting career, I've done a ton of different things in the business. I've been a stunt woman, producer, COVID manager, during COVID.
Still going on.
Who hasn't? A product placement, consultant, clearance person. I've done a lot of different things in the industry. So,
what's your favorite acting role that you fulfilled?
Well, I'm kind of known. I was one of the girls in A League of Their Own. That was probably the most fun I've had as an actor, because we shot that. It was my first professional job, being a Rockford Peach in League of Their Own. And then some of my theater stuff has been my favorite thing to do, producing my own theater. And
do you have reunions with people you've worked with? Like you have to shoot a movie and you get connected that way, then afterwards you reconnect?
Well, I still am in touch with everybody from League of Their Own.
That's what I mean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still sign autographs together. We still do events together. We still play games. Up until recently, a couple of years ago, we played a big game with Gina Davis. We played a celebrity baseball game for her.
So what position do you play?
Well, I play played third in high school softball, and then I transitioned to second base for the film. And I also played shortstop.
And so for your audition for the film, did you have to have baseball experience?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Huh?
You have to be skilled. Penny wouldn't hire you unless you could play ball.
Yeah, I would never have been.
I played since I was 4, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I transitioned to softball.
So you had to
But
look-
baseball was more my love than softball.
Mm-hmm. You still play?
No.
No.
I was invited to play on the Australian Women's Baseball League here in the States, which I did play, but they were all in their 20s. And I trained with them at the White Sox facility. They paid for me to train there. And I trained with some of the New York Yankees. And I became a much better ball player when I was with them. And then I played for the Gina Davis thing. I played too. I went to the batting cages to get ready for that. But I think I'd been playing more than anybody has been recently. And so that was it. But I'm not, I have softball people that are always asking me, but I got interested in other things and other sports. So I kind of hung up my cleats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're an athlete. So you mentioned a one-woman show. Have you had your own? I met Kathleen.
Yeah, Kath and I did improv together. That's how we know each other. But did she do a one-woman show? I wasn't
She was
sure.
involved with a woman who was doing a one-woman show.
Yeah, that's Jane Morris. Yeah.
Huh. So what's your dream for your future, for yourself?
My dream for my future, it's very interesting you're asking me that, because I'm actually was talking to a friend about this who's kind of mentoring me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important to kind of do a vision board and really be as specific as possible. I've done in the past when I've done it, it's been very helpful to me. And I was doing it without knowing that there was such a thing as a vision board back in the day. Like when I heard about League of Their Own, I was like, I'm going to get in that movie no matter what. I'm going to get in that movie.
Really? How'd you hear about the movie being?
I heard my friends drove by in their car and said, there's a movie you should audition for. It's perfect for you. And we're going to all go audition. And I didn't have an agent. And so I lied and said I did. Uh-huh. And I jumped in the car with them. And that began my 2-year journey getting the movie. I wrote it down. And anytime that I've ever done that and been very clear with what it is, very specifically I'm pursuing, I find it happens or you come close.
Did you ever want to be a casting director?
No, no, not very interested in that.
Questions you'd like to ask me regarding the collection? Or
how long have you been doing this, putting the collection together?
Almost every anniversary, February.
And how many women do you think you've interviewed?
Over 50. Do you think that A League of Your Own was your most important, most interesting project that you did?
I think it was important because they're also archived. I can't remember in Congress.
The Library of Congress.
Library of Congress has archived it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's insane. And also the fact that it was one of the biggest money makers for women. They thought nobody would see it, and we thought things were going to change.
I'm not a big movie person.
Well, we thought things were going to change after that, but they didn't, and, it's interesting that it never changes, So now we'll see what happens with the Me Too movement, with diversification, everything else that's going to happen. But I think it was important because we have little girls coming up to us, and I still see some of the older women. A lot of them have passed away, but I still see some. I have 5 that I call to check on.
That's great.
And they're still around, and these little girls think that they're their heroes, and which is pretty awesome.
I think I'm not clear about this, but women have a passion, and that comes through in their work. And I think that I'm like you. I like many different things. I have my main focus, but I like diversification. But just watching you, I can see you're passionate about these things.
Oh, yeah, very much so. I mean,
why not?
And I feel like I have more to do. I feel like I think, in between, sometimes in your life, you lose a little bit of steam because you get tired.
So if you knew that you were going to die soon, how would you like to be remembered?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Somebody made a difference while I was here, I guess. But yeah, hopefully you left a little nugget somewhere, like my teacher, Mrs. Johnson, in the 4th grade did for me. Like nobody realizes what they've left behind because you don't often know.
That's true.
But hopefully I left some nuggets somewhere and some seeds that helped somebody or maybe changed their life a little bit.
So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It was a pleasure.